from the engine had smashed his entire truck cabin.
I could tell it was the front end of a jet engine, and my first thought was that the whole plane was coming down.
There is a warm-up in the South, much help to those in Texas who were left in the dark and cold when the state's power grid couldn't meet demand last week. About 300,000 people are still without electricity in Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. CBS's Michael George.
I have no water coming in my home whatsoever.
Texas Representative Sylvia Garcia is calling for an independent investigation into massive power failures after the winter storm left millions in the dark and cold, many lacking food and water.
They want to know why the system failed and, quite frankly, almost broke.
President Biden has signed a disaster declaration to send more federal resources to 77 Texas counties. CBS's Nicaud. FEMA told CBS News the major disaster declaration greenlights individual assistance for residents with damages left uncovered by insurance. A demonstration was held in New York City to speak out about attacks against Asian Americans. WCBS TV reporter Corey James.
Trying to find a way to help, Safe Walks NYC, a Brooklyn-based organization that escorts people to and from subway stations.
There have been attacks, and mostly people are walking alone. So our presence helps provide that sense of security.
In 2019, there were 3 anti-Asian hate crimes. Compare that to last year when there were 29. 24 of those believed to be connected to COVID-19. New York demonstrators marched in solidarity in Washington Square Park Saturday afternoon.
Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott says not enough coronavirus vaccines are going to African Americans.
Due to prioritization by the state, extremely low numbers have been provided, only 5.2% to our Black residents.
The U.S. is just about to hit a devastating milestone in the pandemic, 500,000 deaths, according to Johns Hopkins. This is CBS News.
CBS News Radio is your home for breaking news. With our team of reporters around the country and the world, we give you the coverage you can trust. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Perumian on your official weather station, WWL, AM, FM, and .com.
A chilly start to the morning, but by this afternoon, beautiful weather. We'll be looking at highs in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. A few clouds building in later this afternoon.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Peyton Malone, will be along with your full weather forecast. Bedlam and gunfire inside a gun range in Metairie Saturday afternoon. WWL TV's Duke Carter was at the scene. He files this report.
I come out here to find out that my nephew is a victim.
Janice Hutchison is shocked and dismayed that her nephew Joshua Williams is no longer alive.
My nephew is in there dead right now. I don't know details. I can't speak toward it.
Details about what led to his death and the deaths of the 2 others are still unclear.
Now people pull out guns as if there's no such thing as real death.
Our officials are still investigating exactly what happened here at the Jefferson Gun Outlet in Metairie. According to Jefferson Parish Sheriff Joe LaPinto, details are limited.
Before 11 o'clock, our office was dispatched to a shooting here.
Deputies say an unknown suspect shot 2 people, a man and woman, dead inside the gun range. That led to a chaotic scene outside the building as the suspect and multiple others began shooting at each other.
In all, 3 people are dead, 2 injured in the melee. Jefferson Parish Sheriff's investigators are still trying to piece together what happened. The end of the line for the Hard Rock Hotel collapse is in sight. WWL TV's Paul Dudley has the latest on the demolition efforts.
The building that would have become the Hard Rock Hotel is almost completely demolished. Over the last few weeks, crews have been tearing down the bottom floors. The project was scheduled to have been done months ago. The developer blames the busy hurricane season. An attorney for 1031 Canal Development told us recently that they hope to have the site clear by the end of the month.
In WWL sports,
LSU basketball made it 3 in a row with another big afternoon from Cam Thomas.
Pass right side, a quick three by Cambridge off the mark, hits the left side of the rim, right in the hands of Cam Thomas. Thomas down the floor to the basket, goes up, layup, count the bucket, and they foul. Coast to coast for Cam Thomas.
The fantastic freshman had 27 points to lead the way for LSU as they knocked off Auburn 104-80. The win pulls the Tigers back into a second-place tie in the SEC. Next up, a trip to Athens to face Georgia on Tuesday night. LSU Baseball also opened their season-winning win, knocking off Air Force 6-1. Jade Hill got the victory on the mound for the Tigers, his second victory in purple and gold. LSU and Air Force will rack them up and play it again today at noon. It's yours right here on WWL. We'll join pregame coverage at 11:30. And the Pelicans are back on national TV today. They'll face off with the Boston Celtics on ABC at 2:30 this afternoon. I'm Mark Menard, WWL Sports.
Now the forecast from your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Peyton Malone.
A beautiful Sunday afternoon with high temperatures getting into the upper 60s to right near 70 degrees. We'll see a few clouds mix into the afternoon, but overall looking good. Tonight, lows only dipping to around 51 on the North Shore, 55 on the South Shore. That's as moisture moves in ahead of a cool front. That cool front will bring some showers to the area Monday morning, but by afternoon we should be clearing out. Highs in the mid-60s on Monday. Tuesday was dark chilly in the mid-30s on the North Shore, low 40s on the South Shore, but Tuesday afternoon looking sunny and nice in the mid-60s. Wednesday looking nice as well, sunny with low 70s, and then some showers move back in by Thursday. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Peyton Malone.
And I'm Tom Karumian, WWL First News.
The following is a paid program. The views and advice expressed are not that of WWL or Intercom Louisiana, LLC. Assessing a person's legal matter often requires extensive interviews, review of contracts and documents, and research of the current state of the law and the issues involved. As a result, the information provided by the attorneys and guests of All Things Legal is given for informational purposes only. It is not to be construed as legal, tax, investment, or other professional advice. Communications with the attorneys on this program, whether verbal or digital, do not create an attorney-client relationship. From WWL, the news, talk, and sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Paid for by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Call or text 504-260-1870 or join us anytime, anywhere on the radio.com app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, All Things Legal. Give us a call at 260-1870. We'll answer your legal questions. Good morning, Albert.
Hey, Doug, what's going on?
Nothing much. It looks like we'll have a day where we don't have to bundle up and get out there and enjoy ourselves today. You weathered the cold?
Yeah.
You weathered the cold? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the poor people in Texas, with their frozen wind turbines, those work really great.
Yeah.
The state that produces the most
oil,
natural gas, and fossil fuels is one third or 1/4 of the state is out of power during a horrible freeze. It's silliness. Look, I'm all for alternative energy, but let's wait till it's ready to roll and we have backup plans with fossil fuels until we can make that switch. But
let the market dictate when it happens. Yeah. Well, I have to say, and I was wondering because I go to a lot of my information from like on highly scientific, intellectual information from Hollywood actors because they just seem to be well read on societal problems. And Leonard DiCaprio, and when between Leonardo, when he's between flying on his private plane, I know he has a big concern about global warming, which doesn't seem to be happening this week, but I figured it out. You see, he made his money when he hit an iceberg in Titanic, right? So he's got to keep the ice. He's got to keep the ice caps, there. So I get it. But yeah, global warming. It's interesting. You know how we can solve global warming?
They don't call it that anymore. They
What
call
they-
it climate change.
Oh, it's not global warming.
Yeah. When it freezes, then it's not global warming.
It's climate change. Okay, well, let me tell you this. You know how you stop global warming? You raise taxes and kill the oil industry in Louisiana. You know how you know how you stop climate change? You raise taxes and kill the oil industry in Louisiana. You know how you stop global cooling? You raise taxes and kill the oil industry in Louisiana. So, geez. All right. I guess that's our political statement of the day, huh? Social commentary. Social commentary.
Be careful with political statements. We might get canceled.
No, we get canceled. That's all right.
Cancel culture.
Cancel. Well, I mean, it's a fair question. It's a fair question as to, because we have this in Louisiana. I mean, Texas should never be in this situation since they're the top supplier of fossil fuels. But it's sort of a test run to see alternative evidence.
Like driving around and certain parts of the city, that are somewhat hip, and they have these rain barrels catching rainwater off of the roof to conserve water. You don't need to do that in water. There's all the water in the water.
We got plenty of water
right here. You don't need to conserve. It's not like California, but I think people think, oh my, we have to go to California. We have to live like Californians live, where they suffer droughts and they don't have all these rivers running through everything and the Mississippi River feeding them, or you dig 4 feet down and you get water in there.
Wow.
But it's just this whole concept. People are buying into it without thinking,
Well, let me tell you, you want to get some bad stares, like when you try to eat. You go to Tulane Student Union and start drinking Coke out of a plastic straw. I think there's some kind of ordinance on Tulane University prohibiting that. But as I always say, if you ever fly from coast to coast, you never look down and see a valley full of straws, plastic straws accumulating. So I think we're okay with that.
You see a valley full of wind turbine parks that are filling up landfills, but they're only good for a certain period of time, and they can't destroy them. They're made out of this hard resin product. And,
yeah.
The half-life of these things is forever. So,
hey, and we're Louisiana first. In Louisiana's oil industry is the biggest, is besides tourism, Louisiana. Yeah, and the oil industry, that supports us, and that's one of the things that made Louisiana. Well, I can't say that. Can I say what made Louisiana great? Is somebody gonna get offended? So what made Louisiana very prosperous in the past is the oil industry. And look, there's a difference between climate change and pollution. Those are two different issues, two separate and completely segregated issues.
I'm a conservationist. I believe in all of that. I mean, I fish. I want our waters clean. And look, if you're a big corporation, small corporation, you're polluting, come down hard on them, smack them, and make sure they clean up and don't pollute our environment or our waters. And, But let's just be reasonable about everything. Okay?
Yeah. Leonard DiCaprio can stop listening to this part of the show now.
We gotta get it in quick.
With that, no, we got, and then we got. Well, we had. You watch LSU basketball yesterday?
We were at believe it or not, a crawfish boil yesterday.
It's early, huh?
And
Is it Lou?
the game was on, so I caught bits and pieces of it. But LSU looked pretty good again. They scored a bunch of points.
They got talent. They have talent. I mean, they got 4 NBA guys on the team, and they have great talent. It's just an issue of playing together. And the converse is this: is they can go in there. It looks they 2 weeks ago when we were talking, they were on the bubble. They're off the bubble, and they have to lose themselves back onto the bubble. So they play Georgia this weekend, but they're second in the SEC, tied for second. They should make it, provided they, they played Georgia. They should beat Georgia, and almost break even and do a decent appearance in the SEC. They should make it, but LSU could be one and done because they're just not. They're 5, 6 great players who don't play together, or they're a team that could come together and make a run.
I think they have more issues defensively than they do offensively. Because they're scoring points, but they're just not, I think they need a big man inside. They need a 7-footer that can protect the rim. They got a lot of 6'8", 6'9" guys that can play bigger than they are because they jump well. But, kind of like the Pelicans did this year, which I'm very happy about going to get Adams, Hernan Gomez, all these guys, go ahead and get a guy that can protect your rim, grab rebounds. Adams, I think, is like the second or third rebounder in the NBA right now. And he's just big, strong, and let me tell you, if you go in there trying to shoot the ball, a guy like that's gonna make you change your shot a little bit. And that's the one thing I think they don't have. They do get out rebounded. They do get and like you said, they a lot of one-on-one, a lot of things on offense, but they're scoring points on offense, so you can't really fault them for that so much. But defensively, they're getting a lot of points scored.
The Pelicans are bipolar. I mean, they were up by 11 in the fourth quarter against the Suns, and they were outscored 41-12 in the fourth quarter. And Chris Paul ate them up.
12 points in the fourth quarter. And look, and then it's close at the end, and Zion's killing it. He's got his personal record for points, and there's 15 seconds left to win the game, and they don't give him the ball. He doesn't even touch the ball.
Yeah, and that was game before that. Yeah.
The game before that, Damian Lillard was unconscious, but yeah.
Yeah, well, they have a hard time defending on the 3-point. I think that they just have defending the 3-pointer, and they just hadn't found their closeout because they probably lost 10, 12 games in the last couple of minutes, just not being able to close it out. And a lot of these games they had,
which was the previous coach's problem. They bring to the promised land and they lose in the end. And again, I think it goes back to what we were talking about last week. I think they need that alpha dog, that guy that's going to say, hey, look, I'm the guy that needs to get the ball, give me the ball, and I'm gonna drive and dish. I'm not gonna shoot it every time. I'm gonna make something happen. And unfortunately, I don't think Brandon Ingram is that guy. Maybe Zion can turn into that guy and get to the line if they hack him. But
he's only 20 years old. Well, the Pelicans are like a quarterback that's great between the 20s. Throws the ball between the 20s but can't score. And that seems they can't close it out. And also, there's indications that Drew may be coming back, which would be interesting to develop. I don't know. I mean, I still think it's still up in the air, it seems like. But that's a possibility.
But let's not judge him based on the second half of this year's performance. I mean, the guy had a bunch of cracked ribs, a shoulder issue. He had a lot of problems that prevented him from throwing the ball. And, honestly, shame on him for coming back. I know he's a competitor, but he wasn't ready. He couldn't throw the ball down the field, which, they just put everybody in the box and dared him to do it. And that's how you compete. And when you got a guy that can go in there, maybe Jameis that can go in and run, and even though he's not the quarterback that Drew is, he can throw the long pass, the short pass, or whatever. So let's see. I mean, honestly, I read an article in a magazine a year or so ago, the Men's Journal magazine, an article about Tom Brady's physical therapist. And he's so good that he actually set up a facility right next door to the Patriots facility. And not everybody, but a lot of the players go to him. And he's the real deal. I mean, this guy supposedly, whatever he has done for Tom Brady, who's, still got the arm to make the tough long pass and the deep middle doing seems to be working, and Drew might want to hook up with that, you know.
There you go. And we'll round it off before we go to break. LSU baseball, all's right with the world. LSU baseball is back after 348 days. And LSU actually this year has a little Catholic league in New Orleans influence. They have starting first baseman Trey Morgan. He is from Brother Martin. Will Helmers is from Jesuit. They're two freshmen. We got Cade Beloso, who's from the parish. Yeah, brah. And so he's going to, so we're all's right in the world. And if they go to Omaha this year, I'm making the pilgrimage. I'm just saying in advance. So, but there you go. There you go. I'm going this year. No, but also Jaden Hill pitched yesterday. And all you LSU baseball fans, Jaden Hill probably has the best stuff of any pitcher since Ben McDonald. And so he'll be excited. Whether he performs that way is a different issue, but he's got some of the best stuff that you will ever see. So let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Yeah. News never stops.
Mask up, America. Mask up.
And we never stop reporting it. Stay connected.
Okay, no callers as of yet.
It's telling us what's going on
WWL.
That's where I get all my news.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
No boat shows? No problem. Boat Stuff has over 100 boats on order. Come in today and choose from the most popular high-performance boats, including Abbott, Blue Wave, and Vexus boats, and Yamaha motors are coming in weekly. Get boat show savings, including 5 years of warranty protection on Yamaha outboards. Make no waves about it. Boat show savings end March 2nd. So get your boat and Yamaha outboard from Boat Stuff in Slidell, Harvey, Port Sulphur, and Hammond, or at BoatStuff.com.
Doing your best work from home is not easy when you don't have the right space. California Closets will help you create a custom solution that works for you, your family, and your life. Whether it's a small space, shared space, multifunctional space, or kids space, our professional design consultants will help you get organized and make your space one that works better for you. Now you can love where you live and work. Schedule your free in-home or virtual design consultation today at CaliforniaClosets.com.
If you're building a new home or buying a new home from a builder, you need to be aware of Louisiana's New Home Warranty Act. It sets forth strict deadlines to make claims against the builder for defects in construction. If you don't provide the builder with proper notice, you can lose your right to make a claim. This is Albert Nicaud with the Nicaud & Sunseri Law Firm in Metairie. Call me at 504-837-1304 as soon as you discover a defect. Better yet, call me before you sign your construction contract and let me make sure you're protected.
Brandon Ollie here. We make it easy. Windows with blinds built in it. ReliefWindows.com.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com. babbel.com.
It's WWL and All Things Legal with Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Join us on the WWL Talk and Text Line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We were talking earlier a little bit about cold and climate change. It's no more global warming. Climate change. I always tell my kids, I said, climate change 4 times a year: spring, summer, winter, and fall. It's been happening since the time of Adam and Eve, from what I hear. But probably a lot of homeowners and business owners may have experienced some damages, frozen pipes, and those type of things. Albert, what are some of the coverages for your homeowner's policy, your business policy for the cold, and whether you can make a claim or not? For example, like a frozen pipe that busts. Is that something that's covered under the homeowners?
You had a pipe freeze in the attic and it damaged your interior, damaged your ceilings, etc., your furniture. You would have a cause of action against your insurance company, or a claim against your insurance company for the damages sustained. Obviously what you want to do is call them immediately, try to get as much of the wet out of there, take as many photographs as you can. You want to do what you can to what's called mitigate your damages, right? Make your damages less. You have an affirmative duty to do that. But believe it or not, they will repair everything, but they will not repair the pipe. So you've got to get a plumber in there to go fix the broken pipe. They won't pay for that, but they will pay damages as a result of that.
Okay, so let's talk about the distinction. So you have a pipe burst, and let's say it burst in the attic, and you have sheetrock on the ceiling, some of the walls, you have some water damage. What's the distinction as far as paying, having the insurance company pay for the burst pipe versus the damage arising from the burst pipe?
Well, and that's exactly what it covers, right? It'll cover damages resulting from an occurrence. And the occurrence, of course, is the burst pipe. It's very similar to what contractors have with their general liability policy, right? So a contractor will have a general liability policy. You want to confirm, gee whiz, and a lot of homeowners are confused by this. They have, I want my contractor to have general liability insurance, and you absolutely do. But be careful, because it doesn't cover as many things as you might think. For instance, if the contractor puts a wall up and the wall is not straight, it's not done right, if the sheetrock's not correct, and all these things are wrong, you don't have a claim against their insurance company because it's considered their work, and their work is not covered. However, damages resulting from their work would be covered. So if the wall should fall and cause damage to an existing structure or whatever else, then there would necessarily be coverage, unless it was during the time they were doing the work, etc. So there's a lot of different coverages. Same thing with the homeowner's policy. For instance, when you have a burst pipe under the house, right, like a sewer pipe, the insurance company will pay to dig, to chip the concrete beam around the perimeter, to get to the pipe and remove the pipe. But they're not going to pay to replace the pipe and the hangers. So when that happens, you're going to probably have $1,000 or $2,000 plumbing bill for somebody to get in there to run all the pipes, because they're not going to pay for that. They're only going to pay for the damages resulting from that, and they're only going to pay for what's under the slab. So any pipe that's separated or dips or sags between the house and the city's main connection, then they're not going to pay for that either. So if you've got to dig under your yard or under the driveway, whatever, that's all separate. So they're going to, only because they cover what's under, from the roof to under the slab only. And again, in this situation, you want to be sure too to have your adjuster's estimate checked out, because because let me tell you, we're renovating a little house right now with my daughter, and man, a year ago, 2x4s were $2,
Yes,
$2.25 a piece.
yeah. I saw that.
They're more than $6 a piece. They're more than $6 a piece at Lowe's and Home Depot. So you know, it's just the price of materials has gone through the roof.
Right.
And I know the exact software is supposed to catch up with that, but a lot of these insurance companies use their own Xactimate type software, and you want to make sure you get it evaluated by someone who can go in and get current pricing on everything, because the materials are out of the roof.
Now, let me ask you a theoretical question. If you go in and they give you money and there's damages, and that the covered damages are greater than what they paid, what would be the next step in order to get that extra supplement?
Well, you know, again, what we have to explain to a lot of clients that
we have Teresa on the phone with a question about a quick claim deed. She's from Metro.
Okay.
You know, people come in, man, I got a great case that we got this contractor dead to right, or we got this insurance company dead to right. So the contractor comes in and says, yeah, we've got this, you know, claim against a subcontractor claim against contractor. That's all great if you have the liability side done. You've got to make sure you firm up your damages. That's the second half of the equation, right? What are my damages? You need to get someone out there, number one, that knows what they're doing, knows what, and look at that estimate. Say, wait a minute, this guy missed this and he missed that. He didn't include that, or she didn't include, you know, the underlayment for the flooring, and you know, those kinds of things. And all of a sudden, you know, you get this check, and then you hire a contractor, and the contractor comes out and says, wait, they didn't, you know, it's going to be another $15,000. And so you want to make sure that you can go in and have someone who's experienced that can go in and articulate the differences and get paid up front. Another thing, and this is a big issue, in fact, I've got at least 2 cases in the office. In fact, we just went through one, but through arbitration in one. The insurance company was dragging their feet, and so one client, you know, who happened to have enough money but not endless funds, was able to go in and just get the work done himself without having received a check from the insurance company. And so he paid a lot of people cash. He hired some, you know, some folks hanging out in front of the big box stores. He did what he could, you know, to do the clean out, do the demo, and all this kind of thing. And so the insurance company said, wait a minute, we've got a little clause in our policy that says we're going to pay the lowest amount of A, the damages that were sustained, or B, what it cost you to repair it. And so now all of a sudden, he's the guy that did all the contracting work. All this was done without without insurance, without a contractor's license, without warranties that a contractor would give you. And, you know, he would pay some employees. Some of them, like I said, I paid them cash. I don't know. I didn't really keep track of that. And so, and even if he did keep track, he's then got to make sure the cash is accounted for and get a receipt or something like that. So he was having an issue with trying to prove his case down the road. And you can have that at the trial or arbitration end, or you can have it in the beginning at the claims end. And so we'll prove it to us. We'll pay you, but you just got to show what you spent.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you keep those receipts and document everything.
All right, that's good. All right, let's go to break. We got Teresa on the line. We'll take her when we come back. She's got a question regarding a quick claim in real estate. So we'll be right back. All things legal after this brief time out.
Hey, it's Tommy Tucker. Our country is facing serious problems, and before we can solve anything, we need to identify what's really wrong and figure out how to fix it. Step 1, separate fact from fiction and policy from politics. That's why we tell you the truth. Whenever you're offered a simple solution to a complex problem, you are being played. We won't do that, so please join me for First News, weekdays 6 till 10 a.m. right here on WWL AM, FM, and .com.
It all starts with just one thing. Get to know your local beekeeper. You can make sure they don't use chemicals in the hive, that they only sell surplus honey, plus locally produced honeys have a smaller carbon footprint. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
Rick Edelman, award-winning radio host and founder of Edelman Financial Engines, takes questions on his radio show. Let's hear his answer on long-term care.
Hi, Rick. I'm worried about the cost of long-term care. Should I get insurance?
You're smart to ask, because 1 in 2 Americans over 65 will need long-term care. But do you need the insurance? It depends on your financial situation. If you're rich, you don't need insurance because you can afford the costs. If you're poor, Medicaid will pay for your care. But if you're in the middle class, the cost of care could push you and your spouse into poverty. Before you buy insurance, consider your complete finances, including your savings and investments. Get independent advice from someone who will give you the guidance you need, and that's in your best interest.
That's Rick Edelman, founder of Edelman Financial Engines. If you're looking for a trusted partner, talk to one of our financial planners by calling 888-PLAN-RICK or visit rickedelman.com.
At Mike Brenner Injury Attorneys, we know that car wrecks don't take the weekends off, and neither do we. If you've been hurt in a wreck over the weekend, don't wait until Monday to get the help you need right now. We have people standing by, ready to take your call, ready to give you free advice, and ready to help you get the medical attention you need. You don't have to wait until Monday to call an attorney. In a wreck, need a check? Call me, Mike Brandner. We're the 24/7 injury attorneys, and we're available to get you the help you need right now.
Mike Brenner's the one. Call 345-1111.
There's nothing like a certified pre-owned Cadillac from Cadillac of New Orleans. Get 2.9% financing for up to 72 months, credit permitting, and all certified pre-owned Cadillacs receiving through a 172-point inspection. So they look, feel, and drive like brand new, but with a really big discount. 2.9% financing and a 5-year unlimited mile warranty. So come and get your certified pre-owned Cadillac today. Cadillac of New Orleans. On the catty corner of Lime Street and Rye in Metairie.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Managing today's uncertainty can be overwhelming. Focus on what you can control, even if it's little things, like your before-bedtime ritual.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
In honor of President's Day, Dell delivers savings to help America's small businesses get more done. Office Anywhere, with up to 50% off high-performance laptops, desktops, and servers with Intel Core processors and top-brand electronics. Plus, refresh now with flexible financing options. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/President's Day.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move, with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals. Get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
NBA veteran J.J. Redick has seen it all in his more than 14 years in the league. Now with the Old Men and the Three podcast, Redick and co-host Tommy Alter bring listeners a behind-the-scenes look inside the NBA and beyond. Listen free on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your shows.
Back to WL and all things legal with attorneys Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Connect on the WWL talk and text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We got Teresa on the line. Hey, Teresa, you on all things legal. Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. What you have for us?
Hi. Well, I just want to tell you that I listen to your show every Sunday morning on my way to church, and I enjoy not only your legal advice, but your sports talk also, because I'm a huge South Louisiana sports fan. But my question today is about a quit claim deed. We had obtained some property through a quit claim deed from a relative, and now we're selling that property. Mm-hmm. And the people who are buying it, first of all, wanted me to pay for title insurance. So I didn't think that was my responsibility, so I said no. So of course now there's a clause in the contract just to, make sure that the deed is, free of all liens and all that stuff. And I just don't know, is it the closing attorney who will be handling the closing? Are they going to do the title research to make sure that there are no problems? How do I prove that? I have no reason to believe that what I have is not valid and correct, but since I obtained it through a quitclaim deed, I'm not 100% sure. So I just don't know, I guess, how to proceed, or if there's anything that I need to do before the closing.
No, you can proceed. Quitclaim deed is certainly a valid instrument in Louisiana. It's done all the time. The closing attorney, typically the buyer will select a closing attorney, and that closing attorney is going to run at minimum an abstract on the property. And the abstract means that someone will go to the courthouse and pull the records and make sure that there are no liens that, and the closing attorney, if there is title insurance, will write a title opinion to the title insuring company saying, yes, we've researched everything and it seems to be, good to go. And so that's all done on their end. What parish are you in?
Well, actually, it's in Mississippi. I live here, but it's some property that we have in Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
But that's warranty deeds, yeah.
They're deeds in Mississippi, but they're recorded, and so they will go forward and look at those at that title. They'll do a title search and just make sure that that you are the person that has the deed to the company to the property, and that's all going to be done by their closing attorney that they hire.
Okay, good. That put my mind at ease, because I just wasn't sure if there was something that I needed to do in addition to just, what they will do. So, okay, well, great. Thank you so very much. You've answered my question.
Thank you, Teresa. Keep listening. Thank you. And
I will.
All right. Thanks so much. All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, Doug. Who we have next? We have Jay. All right. Let's go to Jay, Doug. Jay, you on All Things Legal, Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. What you got for us, Jay?
Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning.
To your listeners as well.
All right, brother. What you got for us, man?
Well, let me say this right here, that I'm a New Orleans native, and what seems to be happening in the streets today is that there's a parking ticket thing, okay? And I know that you're not here, that you don't specialize, but let me tell you what's going on.
All right.
Okay, people are going down the streets of, let's just say, the corner of Common and Carondelet, okay? And they see an automobile with a parking ticket on it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that would happen to be my automobile, by the way, which expired it may not have even expired. Well, yeah, it expired perhaps by 20 minutes, a half an hour. I know I'm dragging it on, I apologize.
No.
But the thing is that they take the people who are searching for a place to park, they take the parking ticket off your car. They find a place to illegally park going towards Canal Street or whatever on Carondelet, and they place the parking ticket underneath their windshield wiper blade, so the meter maid, with her $3 in one pocket and a iron punch on the other side. Okay, I'm serious. I have used it. Okay?
No. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you.
Okay, so and then they see that big old parking ticket right there, and don't even have the qualifications to think, well, hey, I've been working this corner since 8 a.m. and it's now 9:30 p.m. I'm the meter maid, and they see a parking ticket on it, they just don't pass it by, okay? Okay, and that's the reason for that is because they don't care, They don't care. I've gotten parking tickets anyway, my point being is there's a scam out there with parking tickets that people are taking parking tickets off of other cars and putting them on their cars and allowing these degenerate people that they have. I'm not calling them all degenerate, okay? I'm just saying, okay, they just walk on by.
It's okay to call them that. It's okay. All right. Yeah, I got it.
I don't know.
No, you good with us. We're
In America, have you heard?
yeah.
But probably what's happening is these people are taking parking tickets off of cars, putting on their cars to avoid these meter maids who don't give a rat's backside about their job. They're just more concerned about fraud, you know?
Well, I mean, I think Albert got a ticket while he was on the show, right? A couple of years ago, they gave you a ticket. Yeah, so you got a traffic ticket while you were broadcasting, which was interesting. Okay, well.
8:20 a.m. I said I can prove I wasn't there. I was on the radio. It doesn't matter. You still got to go through this complication of trying to deal with it, you know.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. Even though I suspect the administration doesn't listen to our show, or if they do, they probably get upset with us if they hear some of the things we have to say. But
what else is going on in the streets, my brother? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I hear you. So, well,
Man, anything's possible.
Well, I think Jay will. We just implore the meter maids to read the tickets, make sure.
No,
hey,
no, listen. You know what?
What you got?
That is definitely a simple solution to a permanent problem we have here. Okay.
I know. I got you.
What I'm trying to say basically is I think that if any of the listeners, or perhaps maybe someone who works at the meter parking ticket place, whatever you call it, would perhaps maybe need to scrutinize these people that they're not doing their job.
There you go.
And they got thieves out there that are picking on people, okay? And my car's going to be towed one day, this, stuff, and that, and I just, as a result of the fact that somebody else is scamming me, that's all I feel.
There you go. All right, we got a form to do it. I wish the administration would be as upset about murder, robbery, and carjacking as they are about parking tickets, but it seems like their priorities are a little reversed. So.
Well, you know, they don't make any money on murders and carjacking. They make their money on parking tickets.
Well, in the short term, in the long term, people don't want to come here because they don't want to relocate their businesses. They don't want to, buy houses here because they're concerned about the crime. But that's in the short term, you're correct. All right, Jay. Well, you got your form. Call us back anytime if you got any. Call us in a couple months. Let us know your progress if that happens to you again, and we'll give you another form. And it's okay to say degenerate for people who are doing that. It's okay on our show. All right. Thanks for the call. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Every time you pull up to your home, you notice it. Your neighbors probably notice it too. Your paint is chipping, peeling, fading. You gonna paint your home yourself? I don't think so. Gonna pay someone else every few years to paint? That makes no sense. The solution? Rhino Shield. Rhino Shield is a revolutionary permanent ceramic coating that comes with a 25-year warranty. Bottom line with
board is clear. Never
board is clear.
Home again, guaranteed. It's perfect for wood, brick, stucco, vinyl, and steel. And
I got a call from another guy who said if you go to court, they're pretty smart about that kind of stuff.
Call Rhino Shield Mid-South and never paint your home again. For your free no-obligation estimate, call 504-407-2222. And if you're one of the first 10 callers right now, you'll save 10%. 504-407-2222. That's 504-407-2222. Or go to rhinoshieldmidsouth.com. That's rhinoshieldmidsouth.com.
At Community Coffee, we've been making great tasting coffee for over 100 years. But what makes us different isn't just how long we've been around. It's how far we're willing to go in pursuit of the perfect cup. We select only the finest beans and use over 4 generations of family roasting experience to give you the richest, most delicious coffee around. Find Community Coffee at your local grocery store or visit communitycoffee.com to order some today.
This is Bobby Hebert from my friends at Clearwater Pools and Spas, your staycation headquarters. Let us make your backyard a great family vacation.
Okay, I'll have about 7 minutes after Big Lou.
Okay, gotcha.
The largest selection in above-ground pools, spas, and hot tubs, including hot spring spas. They're the only factory authorized and trained in pristine blue and oxygen sanitizing systems. Visit cwnova.com or one of our locations locations in Covington, Metairie, Baton Rouge, and Pearl, Mississippi. Clearwater pools and spas.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-1509. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-1509. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-1509. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-1509. 800-555-1509.
Now, more All Things Legal, paid for by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. So we had Jay and talking about the parking tickets. And one of the issues, if you get a parking ticket and you want to contest it, you have to take a day off of work to go contest it. So a lot of times it's just cheaper to pay the $30 or $60 than, take a day off, right, Albert?
Either that or just grab the parking ticket and put it on the car behind you.
Yeah, that's solution number 2. Also, let me ask you this about what's that? Go ahead.
Like people out there doing.
That's right. Also, when Teresa called earlier on the way to church, man, we have a lot of sanctified listeners. They go to church. They're probably a good bit of them. So we'll see them in heaven when we leave this earth. But she was talking about titles and warranty deeds in Mississippi. And if you do this about once a year, you explain the difference between a warranty deed, because we have a lot of listeners in Mississippi who deal with warranty deeds, Louisiana with titles. What are the difference between the two?
Well, the
Primary.
title Louisiana is a little different because, some will argue that we don't have deeds, right? What we have is an act of cash sale. And in that act of cash sale, it is a sale from the seller to the buyer. It's got a full property description. It talks about the as-is clause and all those sorts of things. And that document is recorded in the public record. So in Louisiana, it's very important, and it's the public records doctrine, which is relied upon very heavily in Louisiana. The whole notary concept is in terms of recordation and what's in the public record and what's not in the public record. For instance, let's say I sell you my house and you got a cash sale document, right? And then all of a sudden, and you don't record that document. And I now turn around and sell that house to a third party. And the third party has their title attorney examine the public records. They examine what's been filed, and that transfer of the house to you is not recorded. That third person can rely on the public records document. And that sale from me to that third party is valid. Now you would have a cause of action against me for selling the house again. But that third party will not be disturbed of their possession. And so it's very important to go in and have your documents recorded. And so it's also important that banks rely on it and go look at that public record to see if there are any tax liens, any liens under the Public Works Act for laborers and material suppliers who did not get paid on any particular job that you had for doing work on your house. All kinds of things, judgments, where judgment will be filed and recorded and then it's picked up in that property. So the public records document is very, very sacrosanct in Louisiana. Mississippi is very, very much the same, but if you show up with a deed, and you have the deed to that property, it's much like an auto title, right? When you have the
warranty deed, right?
Yeah, and then, dad dies, but mom doesn't record any information that dad died. And so she's now, when she wants to go refinance or do something with her insurance, whatever, she's got to now prove that dad died, because she's got to now prove that she's the sole owner of that property if she wants to sell it or whatever the case may be.
Now, we got about a minute to go. Why is title insurance important in Louisiana?
Well, I'm not a big fan of it. I got to tell you, if your title attorney does a good job, and for instance, if you buy a house that someone's been living in for more than 30 years, you pretty much don't need title insurance if the abstract that was performed was done properly. And so, because once you're there 30 years, if there's some sort of setback or some sort of whatever, then, you own that property. And so, title insurance is an expensive thing, and you gotta, I very rarely see it. I do a lot of real estate litigation, and you rarely see where
it's been,
title is into the game.
And we
a different fight.
Yeah, and we'd be remiss to mention that your associate Jeff Seisman, right? His father-in-law is like Seisman. His father-in-law is like the godfather of real estate closings, Kevin Heigl, right?
Yeah.
So
Kevin Heigl is one of the wisest title attorneys in probably the state. Been doing it forever,
and
he's on the brink of retirement. I think he goes in to keep his wife happy. But anyway,
we had him on the show.
We'll refer a lot of things to him because he's very good.
And he also too, he was the notary on the Louisiana Purchase there. Thomas Jefferson wasn't there when he signed, but a lot of the high diplomats for the United States government in 1812 was there when he notarized the document. So if you're ever down in the Pontalba, you can go see Kevin's notary on the Louisiana Purchase. All right, well we're about done on hour number 1 on all things legal. We'll be back for hour number 2. You can call us at a law firm on the South Shore at 504-837-1304, 504-837-1304. Call on the North Shore at 985-624-9697, which is in Mandeville, in God's country. So we'll be back for hour number 2. You can also check us out on Facebook. We're streaming live. Also, our webpage is nslawla.com, nslawla.com. You check us out. But we'll be back for hour number 2 on all things legal. So just stay tuned, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes.
The previous show was a paid-for program. The views and advice expressed were not that of WWL or Intercom Louisiana, LLC. Assessing a person's legal matter often requires extensive interviews, review of contracts and documents, and research of the current state of the law and the issues involved. As a result, the information provided by the attorneys and guests of All Things Legal is given for informational purposes only. It is not to be construed as legal, tax, investment, or other professional advice. Communications with the attorneys on this program, whether verbal or digital, do not create an attorney-client relationship.
Home of the New Orleans Saints and LSU Fighting Tiger Sports. 870 AM WWL New Orleans. 105.3 WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans. A radio.com sports station.
I'm Wendy Gillette in New York. Scary moments in the air for 241 passengers and crew on board a United flight that lost an engine and some parts just after departing Denver Airport. KCNC TV reporter Michael Abeda.
There was a loud explosion. Mike Vino was traveling with his wife to Hawaii when the unthinkable happened. The engine on his plane failed. The plane just started shuddering for about half an hour until they landed. He says despite the scenario, it was a calm situation thanks to the professionalism of the flight crew and pilot. There was no panic among the crew. There was no panic among the passengers. He and the rest of the passengers are thankful for their pilot who got them on the ground safely. If we could have stood up, we would have given them a standing ovation when we landed.
No one was injured on the plane or the ground in the suburb of Broomfield. Police Public Information Officer Rachel Welt.
This park, on a day when it's not as cold as it was last weekend, we could have hundreds of people here, and that we are
still not getting reports of any injuries is absolutely shocking.
Getting safe drinking water to residents is now the most pressing challenge in Texas after frigid temperatures froze the pipes. KI reporter Melanie Torrey.
1.7 million gallons was distributed across Texas, most arriving by plane.
The reason we're using air is because the roads are still wet. The roads are still icy.
Here in Austin, city leaders say they've purchased 1 million gallons of water from out of state.
When it comes to distribution, the focus is on identifying the pickup sites that are safe for residents to reach given our current road conditions.
Next up, huge energy bills. CBS's Omar Villafranca reports.
Ed Hers is an energy expert and says those lucky enough to have power now may soon see staggering bills.
Hundreds of dollars per day that they're going to have to add up at the end of the month.
In Houston, Megan O'Neill has seen her bill skyrocket to more than $1,000 per day.
Do I feed my family or do I run the heat?
Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott is trying to reach more African Americans who are skeptical of the coronavirus vaccine.
I will never push aside people's hesitancy because this is Baltimore where we know testing on black people and misuse of black people when it comes to the health industry has happened. We're going to understand that is a real thing, but also use that as an opportunity to show how this is different and that we need to do this because our people are dying at a much higher rate.
March Madness will welcome fans this year, Lisa Mateo reports.
Tens of thousands will fall upon Indianapolis and San Antonio next month, where the entire men's and women's basketball tournaments are to be held this season. Sites will be limited to 25% capacity, but opponents say it risks the further spread of coronavirus.
This is CBS News.
CBS News Radio is your home for breaking news. With our team of reporters around the country and the world, we give you the coverage you can trust.
Paid for by Asset Marketing Services, LLC.
Have you heard? A secret hoard of 1902 Morgan silver dollars has been found. These gorgeous 1902 O Morgans are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 500 of these coins are available. Coin experts are calling the Great Southern Treasury Hoard an incredible opportunity. Just call government.com at 1-800-859-1518, and you're guaranteed a mint-condition 1902 Morgan silver dollar featuring the iconic O Mint mark of the New Orleans Mint. These 119-year-old coins were found in sealed bags that have been untouched since 1902. That makes these unopened bags of Morgan silver dollars extremely rare. To learn more, call 1-800-859-1518. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package. A $10 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-859-1518 now to secure your 1902 Morgan silver dollar coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-859-1518.
An Ohio dog has a very new life.
It's been 5 months since a 7-month-old Lab Shepherd mix named Robbie was brought to an animal care facility near Cincinnati. The badly burned dog's owner was charged with animal cruelty. After 50 medical treatments, the dog has a new purpose.
He's going to be a therapy dog for children in burn units. Since he's obviously been in a burn unit himself, I think it's definitely something that kids will get really excited when they're going through something really tough.
Ray Anderson is with a group called Cincinnati Animal Care. Jim Crisilda, CBS News.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Perumian on your official weather station, WWL AM, FM, and .com.
Sunday afternoon is going to be beautiful. High temperatures getting into the upper 60s to near 70s. Some sunshine mixed in with clouds. Tonight, temperatures not as cold. Lows only dipping into the low to mid 50s.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist, Peyton Malone. Gun violence this weekend leaves 5 people dead. It began with a shootout at a gun range in Metairie. WWL TV's Paul Dudley has the story.
Just a tragic story here. 3 people are dead, 2 in the hospital after an argument at a Metairie gun range led to a shootout. Detectives are still trying to figure out what exactly led to the confrontation yesterday afternoon. As of now, the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office has not announced any arrest. If you know anything about the shooting that could help investigators, you're urged to call Crime Stoppers or the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office.
Meanwhile, more violence later in the evening in New Orleans. We go to WWL TV's Devin Bartolotta for the details.
And police in New Orleans are investigating a deadly double shooting in Central City. Officials tell us that around 6:30, they found 2 men laying in a driveway near the corner of 8th Street and St. Charles Avenue. 1 man died at the scene. The other was taken to the hospital where he died. No information has been released about their identity or any possible suspects.
Well, North Shore COVID numbers are coming down. WWL TV's Mike McDaniel reports on the latest spike subsiding.
At hospitals on the North Shore, a much-needed sigh of relief.
We're very relieved. I think
Dr. Mike Hill oversees the COVID unit at St. Tammany Parish Health System, where there was a peak of 66 COVID patients in mid-January. As of Friday, there were 18.
we see the trend has been coming down over the last 10 days, and it really is a trend both here on the North Shore and for the entire state of Louisiana.
Statewide, hospitalizations have not increased at all. As of Friday, there were 806 COVID hospitalizations. That's the lowest number since November 15th, and a 61% drop since reaching a peak of 2,069 on January 7th.
Now here's WWL Sports.
LSU junior Darius Days put on a show from long range as the Tigers won their third straight.
Smart to the lane, kick out pass, Days, 3-ball, good. That's his fourth triple of the day. That'll make it 64-43, and Darius Days feeling it here.
LSU took down Auburn in the PMAC 104-80 to move to 9-4 in the SEC. That's good enough to tie them for second place in the conference with Arkansas. Next up for LSU, they'll battle Georgia in Athens on Tuesday night. As for LSU baseball, they got the 2021 campaign underway with a victory yesterday. Jaden Hill got the win on the mound for the Tigers as they knock off Air Force 6-1. LSU and Air Force will do battle again today at noon, right here on WWL. We'll join pregame coverage at 11:30. And the Pelicans will try to make up some ground today as they host the Boston Celtics on national TV. They'll tip off at 2:30 p.m. on ABC. I'm Mark Menard, WWL Sports.
Another gorgeous day in store. We'll see high temperatures even warmer in the upper 60s to right near 70 degrees. Partly cloudy skies, but it is looking dry through the day. Tonight, we'll see temperatures moderate and be around 51 on the North Shore, 55 on the South Shore as moisture moves back in. A few showers are possible through Monday morning as a cool front moves into the area, but highs still in the mid-60s during the afternoon. Tuesday looking great, sunny skies, highs around 65. Wednesday looking even better, highs around 72 with mostly sunny skies as well. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Peyton Malone.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News.
The following is a paid program. The views and advice expressed are not that of WWL or Intercom Louisiana, LLC. Assessing a person's legal matter often requires extensive interviews, review of contracts and documents, and research of the current state of the law and the issues involved. As a result, the information provided by the attorneys and guests of All Things Legal is given for informational purposes only. It is not to be construed as legal, tax, investment, or other professional advice. Communications with the attorneys on this program, whether verbal or digital, do not create an attorney-client relationship. From WWL, the news, talk, and sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal. Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Paid for by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Call or text 504-260-1870 or join us anytime, anywhere on the radio.com app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back. Hour number 2, Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, on until 10 o'clock today. Give us a call at 260-1870, and we're talking. We're coming out the break. I was listening to the call at LSU basketball game winning yesterday, and this is an interesting. I have a book by Bob Remy, who's This Day in Louisiana Sports History, which I steal from weekly. And in this day in 1970, Pistol Pete Maravich played in his last game at LSU at the Parker Agricultural Center, or the Ag Center is known for us LSU graduates, and played against Kentucky in a national televised game against who was at the time they had Dan Issel. They lost 121-105, but in his last game, he scored 64 points and grabbed 17 rebounds in a losing effort. So, and that probably would have been a lot more if they had the 3-point line. And then on February 25th of 1977, Pete had his game against the New York Knicks when he was playing for the Jazz, where he scored 68 points. And I think they figured out if they had a 3-point line, it would have been 81. And on top of that, in the fourth quarter, he was called on 2 charging fouls that were really blocking fouls, where he fouled out with a minute and a half to go. He probably scored some more.
You can actually go to YouTube and type in, Maravich, New York Knicks, and it's like a little 5-minute video of
Every shot.
shot.
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
And
a couple of passes,
Oh yeah, and I think it was from the New York Knicks broadcast, and it was the announcers were just, oh come on, so it was he was Showtime before they were Showtime. So there you go. Time goes by quick, but we'll hopefully we'll see LSU in the NCAA playoffs. It's good that they're going to have 25% capacity is better than 0 for the NCAA championships, but I guess we'll make progress. Hopefully by Omaha, LSU, when they're there. For the baseball, they'll be close to 100%. But it sounds like there's some optimism as far as Major League Baseball is going to open up, and it looks like NFL is planning on opening up. I think at this point for full capacity. So if nothing changes.
Well, of course, that's always going to depend on the governors, right? And what happens.
Or the mayors, in our case for New Orleans.
Or the mayors, yeah. Or the
don't get me started. We're not. We'll give the mayor a break today, huh?
If I'm anything, I'm flexible and ready to have my opinion
challenged.
And so I mentioned earlier that I was not a big fan of title insurance, but
Yeah.
I would love a title attorney who may be listening to call in and educate everyone as to what title insurance is, what it does, how often it's called upon, and what it protects, and how much it typically costs. Because we have a lot of buyers that buy and sell homes, and obviously you want to, on the buyer's end, you want to protect yourself. But again, I think it's something that it's just a standard transaction, as part of the real estate transaction these days. And I think if someone could call in, that would be great to help fully explain what title insurance is and why you should spend the money and get it on the front end.
Now, Jefferson, in the real estate market, Jefferson Parish is steaming hot right now, and in certain parts of town, it'll take all of 12 hours to sell it or get a bunch of offers when you put a property up for sale. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer, which we do probably have some millennials who listen to us when we're not making fun of them, right? And so in good fun, it's all good fun. Put down your avocado and just take a deep breath. We love you. Get out. That's right. We'll that's one of our missions, to teach millennials to take a joke.
I know people tell lawyer jokes all the time.
I know. And see me get
well deserved. So you got to laugh and let them back.
Yeah, we embrace lawyer jokes here. We think we embrace them, and we just we laugh with them. So but if you're buying a house, and tell us a little bit about when you agree to purchase a house. There's a purchase agreement, and what is a purchase agreement, and what are some of the escape hatches you have if you get into the house and find out it's not, there's some things in there that we didn't anticipate.
So let's talk about that, because people say, oh yeah, I want to put an offer in the house. Okay, well, when you put an offer in, it's a firm offer, right? It is an offer that you're going to buy this house and you're going to put up a earnest money deposit and if you walk away for a reason that you don't have a reason to in the purchase agreement, then you're going to lose your deposit. And so the current real estate standard real estate purchase agreement, and you can go to NOMAR, I think it's New Orleans Realtors or whatever, and basically it You can get forms to the real estate commission and different places and take a look at it. But there are a lot of provisions. There's a specific performance provision. There's a 10% of the purchase price penalty provision. There's attorney's fees provision if somebody's got to go in and enforce it. So all of a sudden you go in and you say, you know what? I don't think I want to do this anymore. I'm able to get the financing at under 4%. There really not a whole lot of things wrong with the house, and so I want to walk away. And you're going to be likely held liable. Now, in Jefferson Parish, you probably got 5 backup offers that might be more.
That's right.
The seller may not care. But if you're in an area where the sales are kind of sluggish, those people don't want to sell their house. They may have moved already or anticipated moving. So there's some strict penalties in that purchase agreement that you really need to be on the lookout for. Also, there is an as-is clause, and usually when there are agents involved, they're going to get you to sign that agreement. You'll eventually sign it in the sale agreement to say, look, you're selling this house, you're buying this house as is, take it or leave it. We're going to give you the opportunity to inspect it. At that point, there's usually an inspection period. Sometimes it's 10 days, sometimes it's 14 days, depending on how quickly you want to do a closing. And you hire a Louisiana licensed home inspector. You can find them at LSDHI, Louisiana State Board of Home Inspectors. I think it's .gov or .org. And you can find them there. You can find an inspector. Typically, if you have a real estate agent representing you, that real estate agent will recommend somebody that they've worked with in the past. But you want that person to go through with a fine-tooth comb and try to discover as many problems and defects with the house, or tell you, hey, this is a great house. You got, the roof is very good condition. It was well built, whatever the case may be. And if you have some issues that, hey, well, wait a minute, I'm looking at this water heater and it's 15 years old. So I want to buy the house, but replace the water heater for it. Or give me a credit. Or I'm going to offer you a little bit less because I didn't anticipate, this these half dozen problems that the home inspection produced, right? So at that point, you either walk away or you send in a list in your response to the home inspection. Say, look, we'd like to have these things done. And so the homeowner's negotiation at that point. The homeowner's going to say, look, you know what? I'm not doing it. The price is the price. And at that point, you have the option to walk away without any type of issues. So if they say, yeah, we'll go do it, at that point, I've got a case right now, right out of the Terrebonne area, where the guy goes the day before the closing for the final walkthrough, and a laundry list of the things that this group decided they were going to sell the house to him. They went in there, put lipstick on it, flipped it. They said that they would go ahead and take care of. Well, they did. And so here he was right before the closing, and they did not do the work that they were supposed to do. And so, he was pretty invested in the property. He had spent money on, people coming to take a look at it, a home inspection, got a deposit out there, all those kinds of things. And now you got to make a decision, gee whiz, do I want to now eat this cost, or sue them for breach of contract, or give them a certain period of time after the closing to complete the work, and if not, then I'll move in and sue them for breach of contract at that point. So you want to make sure you do that walkthrough and don't just rely on the real estate agent for the seller to say, oh yeah, everything is done.
Okay, now let me. Okay, I got a few more questions to you after the break. One's that how do you reconcile an as-is clause in a sale with a property disclosure that gives representations to the condition of the property? And also, too, what's the nature and extent a home inspector, what are they responsible for and what they're not responsible for in connection with the sale? Let's go to a break.
That's a loaded question.
That's, I know.
Absolutely.
Let's go to a break. That's Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
This year, I hope we all recognize one truth.
that we're all Americans, and we basically want the same things. We want COVID-19 to end. We want to be safe in our communities. We want to thrive economically. But those truths can be reality only if we
Nya, nya, nya. Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. The broken Bunsen burner burns so bright. South, Jamie. Southeast Asian Peninsula.
Hey, Jamie. Yes. I think the only line we need from you today is drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Cool. I just gotta finish my warm-ups. Foul, foul, throw in the towel. History.
Switch to Progressive today.
Santa ski slalom in a salmon skin suit.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company.
All right, gentlemen, we have 4 people holding at this moment. Charles from Covington wants to know if he can sue UPS. Mike from Harahan has a question about the feasibility of homeowners insurance. Eric from Covington has a real estate question, something about costing. Dan from Metairie also has a real estate question about getting out of one of those, what you were talking about.
Toyota RAV4. It lets him do all the things he loves to do.
So we got Charles from Covington suing UPS, Mike from Harahan, homeowners insurance, Eric from Covington, real estate question, Dan from Metairie, also a real estate question.
Very specific. He wants to take
Lots of real estate going on.
the lack of squirrels to chase it home unacceptable. Okay. He asks why you didn't take him bungee jumping last weekend. Because he's, a dog? Just because he sleeps in a crate, don't put him in a box. He wants to bungee jump. Seriously? He'll forgive you for a cookie. Sorry, Bo. 2 cookies. Oh, come on. The new RAV4, man and dog's new best friend.
Get $1,000 customer cash, or qualified lessees can lease a new 2021 RAV4 LE for only $249 a month for 36 months for $29.99 due inside. Toyota, let's go places. See packages and options at Toyota.com for feature availability. Visit buyatoyota.com for details. Offers available in United States and 3/1/21.
Doug. Charles first. Charles is first, no.
Charles first.
And who's second?
Join us on the WWL Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
All right, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Charles. Hey, Charles, you're on All Things Legal.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. What you got for us?
I understand that anybody can sue anybody for anything, but whether it has merit or not is another question.
Oh, there you go.
Me and my wife are looking at suing UPS for something, for damage. Basically, we ordered plants are dead. It was supposed to be delivered on a Friday. It wasn't delivered until Monday, and we're the recipient of the shipper.
Can you do me a favor? Can you get off the speakerphone? We're getting like some
feedback.
It sounds like you're on a speakerphone. Yeah, much better. Thank you. Sorry.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay, go ahead.
So, as a shipper, I know we're held to arbitration, but as a recipient of the package, is it possible to sue UPS?
So when did this occur?
Yeah.
Did it occur during this ice storm?
It just occurred very recently. Right now, it actually occurred this weekend.
Okay, and so where did the product come from?
The product came from Florida.
Okay.
What's the value? What's the value of the product?
It was insured for $100, but the value was about $200.
Okay, and have you made a claim for the insurance?
Yes.
Okay, and are they not paying it?
It's under investigation. I know I'm jumping the gun here a little bit, but
so wait, you want to sue a major corporation $100?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the
Small
cost
claims, I
of
guess.
that loss is going to be probably $500 or $600, and that's assuming you can sue them in a state court. You might have to sue them even in a federal court. But it's not worth the effort, time, money. You just take your licks and move on. Insure it for more next time.
Could we do a small claims court? Would that be?
It may not, because not that it would probably be more expensive for them, but they probably would not want to set a precedent that they would be sued in the state court. I mean, they would be able to possibly remove it based on some federal laws that govern shipping and trucking and delivery and that sort of thing. I mean, they may. I mean, you could try, and you'll see how they respond. You would be doing it only for principle only, and not for any economic benefit, because the time and expense of fighting that. Because I mean, UPS, their lawyers aren't, that's a drop in the bucket. And so maybe they pay you. I would say that the complaint fashion would probably get you further than suing them in small claims court. I mean, I always tell the story on taking your licks. Before I had a payroll company, I got a letter from the IRS saying that I owed $300 something in payroll taxes. Okay, and so I gave it to CPA. They looked at it. They said, I have good news and bad news for you. They said, what's the good news? I said, you don't owe the $300 something to the IRS. I said, what's the bad news? My bill's $700. So that's sort of the scenario you're in, is you may be spending $1 to try to recover 50 cents. And I know it's aggravating. And, I think one of the things we do as lawyers is we advise clients as to what battles to fight and which ones to not fight, and which ones are attainable and which ones aren't. And if you were my client, I would say, this is a bad situation. I'm very, very sorry. But the economic cost, the emotional cost, the time cost of trying to get back that $100 is probably going to be greater than the $100 itself. But theoretically, could you sue? Yes. You could theoretically sue in small claims court, and you would see how UPS responds. They may throw you $100 just to get rid of you. I don't know. But
it's not the money. The money is just.
Let me tell you something. UPS doesn't care. You're not going to change how UPS does business over this. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm just giving you truth, because it's not going to make one lick of difference in how they operate.
All right, look, thanks for the call.
But thanks for the call. All right, who do we got next, Doug?
We'll make it Mike from Harahan.
Mike. Hey, Mike, you're in All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. What's happening, Mike?
I got a question about my homeowner's policy.
All right.
It says that claims will be paid at actual cash value, which if I read the fine print, it says that the depreciated value will be paid, as opposed to the replacement value.
Correct.
And I'm trying to determine what my exposure is. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that my house burns down, right? And the house was built in the 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
What's my exposure?
That's a different situation if it's a total loss. Then if it's a total loss, then they will pay for it's a value policy loss, and they'll pay for the entire amount. So in other words, let's say you've got a house and you've got property coverage for $200,000 on it. Okay, and the house burns down. Well, they insured it for $200,000, so they need to step up to the plate if it's a total loss and pay you the $200,000. Okay, so they're not going to nickel and dime you, wait, your carpet was old, that kind of thing. What you have to look out for, and this happens very often, and make sure on the front end when you're dealing with your insurance agent, there's something called a co-insurance penalty.
Eric will be coming up.
Yes.
80%, sometimes it's 90%. And basically what the insurance company is saying with the co-insurance penalty is that you have to tell us what your house is worth. And if you value it less, like less than 80% of the value, so let's say 80% on 200,000 would be exactly. And so you take that 160, and let's say you got it valued at 150,000, but your house is really worth 200,000, not including the lot, just the house itself to rebuild. Then they're going to take a penalty. You're going to lose a percentage of that policy limits on the cost to rebuild that house because you did not tell us that the property was valued properly. And so, for instance, okay, we talked about this earlier in the show. Materials have pretty close to doubled, not across the board, but in very many ways since the COVID thing, right? We've got fewer people working, certain plants have been shut down. We've got issues getting product from China, where a lot of the building materials come from, the flooring and whatever else. And so the cost of materials have skyrocketed. So now the cost to build a house, maybe used to be $100 a square foot. Well, now maybe it's $160 a square foot to rebuild. And now so you've got to be careful and make sure that you look at your homeowner's policy, see what the value of just the house is, not the lot, but just the house, and say, gee whiz, can I rebuild it for this? And if you can't, and you're lower than that, you check your co-insurance clause and see if it's 80 or 90%. And if you can't build it for that, 80% or 90%, then you probably need to go ahead and raise your insurance coverage to cover a total loss. What happens is, 90% of the policies, 99.9% of the policies that get paid out are not the full policy limit. Very rarely is there a total loss. And so, if you have it valued at half the value, 90% of the claims are going to be less than the half value of the house. Insurance companies know this, so they want you paying premiums on the full value and not on a reduced value. But actual cash value, you knew that going in probably that, hey, look, they're going to depreciate things. So marketing, I think they have a useful life schedule on all these components, right? So your carpeting, I think it's only like 7 years, and then it's worth nothing. Yeah. So they might pay you 10 cents on the dollar if it's older than 7 years old. And so you have to look around at sheetrock is sheetrock, so they're not going to really depreciate that because it's drywall. It should last pretty much forever. Baseboards, doors, things like that. But your things that can wear out, your appliances, your roof, your general maintenance things, they may hit you on that. For instance, if there's a hailstorm and you got actual cash value on the roof, then all of a sudden, they're going to look at when that roof was built and then say, hey, well, look, that roof's 20 years old. You only had a 30-year warranty on it, so we're going to depreciate it by 2/3.
All right. Well, that's a good explanation. Thanks for the call. Let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Oh, sorry, root canals. That awkward phase in 7th grade.
Hey guys, check out my new bracelets.
The first time you used them.
Okay, we have Eric and Dan holding. Eric from Covington.
Was he
has
with
a real estate cost question, and
Dan
from Metairie has another real estate question also concerning cost.
Over again. It's hilarious. Download the radio.com app today and rewind WWL anytime.
Blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-1509. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-1509. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-1509. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-1509. 800-555-1509.
NBA veteran J.J. Redick has seen it all in his more than 14 years in the league. Now with the Old Man and the Three podcast, Redick and co-host Tommy Alter bring listeners a behind-the-scenes look inside the NBA and beyond. Listen free on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your shows.
If you wake up more tired than when you went to bed, it's time to look into a Sleep Number bed. Because restful sleep is important if you want to stay healthy. It is a natural immunity booster, and spending 8 hours in the bed doesn't mean that you're getting restful sleep. I have a Sleep Number bed, got a Sleep Number 90, like the bed nice and firm, but a Sleep Number bed is ideal for couples because each person can have their own sleep number. Then you can check your sleep IQ, and I got a score 92 out of 100. Discover the Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed for proven quality sleep. Don't miss our weekend special. Save 50% on a limited edition smart bed plus special financing and free premium delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday only at a Sleep Number store near you in Metairie on Vets next to Bonefish Grill, Covington. Highway 21 in front of Winn-Dixie and Homa, 1731 Martin Luther King, Magnolia Square. Subject to credit approval, minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for all of the details.
A special announcement from People's Health. If you missed Medicare's annual enrollment deadline, you may have until February 28th to enroll in a $0 Medicare plan from People's Health. Benefits may include $0 primary care doctor visits, $0 tier 1 and 2 prescriptions, $0 eyeglasses and hearing aids, $0 over-the-counter items, a $0 gym membership, and a People's Health Heartbeat Premium Give Back. That's money back to you. Learn more at peopleshealth.com.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Feel like your emotions are all over the place? A healthy routine that includes enough sleep, exercise, and proper nutrition can help you feel more centered.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
Okay, Eric dropped off, so we have Dan from Metairie.
Gotcha.
Real estate question, Frank from New Orleans, and he was attacked by pit bulls, having trouble finding a lawyer.
Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask,
could I have EPI? Sponsored by AbbVie.
Back to WWL and all things legal with attorneys Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Connect on the WWL talk and text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Dan. Hey, Dan, you on all things legal?
Man, I ain't heard from you guys.
Man, I hadn't heard from you. The COVID staying away from you, Dan?
Well, I got my first COVID shot about 2 weeks ago.
And then they started coming out, well, they got COVID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I said, hell, man, the odds are starting to get against me, you know. I thought it was me and just COVID number 1, but then I threw about a half a dozen other ones at me.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad you sound good. Sound good. Yeah.
And I'm an old man now, you know, I'm 87.
Yeah, I know. Well, you sound good. Well,
Yeah. Don't let the sound fool you. But look, when you were talking about how to get out of the real estate contract, don't they have a 24-hour, you can do anything and get off?
If
you sign your name, to it.
That's on an act of sale. Are you talking about act of sale?
A purchase agreement.
Okay. So you can get out after 24 hours on the purchase agreement, but not on the contract to buy it.
Well,
you can get out in 24 hours on the purchase agreement. If you sign an agreement, you sign the agreement.
We basically you have to do is get out for a cause.
Well, yeah. Okay, but I thought at one time they used to do it.
There's.
Look, I've been doing this for almost 80 years now, so.
Well, you were also there for the acquisition of Louisiana from France, then, right?
That's what I'm saying. I might be talking about the old days.
No.
I think I let my contract go this year. I got my first contract when I was 30 years old as a broker. So I think I've been the longest broker in Louisiana, and I'm probably the oldest one I do.
Yeah, so that would be.
I've held that contract. I mean, I've held that whatever now they call it, a long time.
Well, it's now I think there's certain type. I recall, Albert, there's certain type of loans that you have a 72-hour rescission period.
Correct. Yes,
right.
And that's all a federal government kind of saying, you know, where you can back out on it. But in a real estate transaction, you sign the purchase agreement, you sign it. There's no 24 hours, 72 hours. It's usually a very fast property, especially in a hot market. Very fast profit, especially in a hot market. And so, you know, you sign an agreement. If somebody's got to wait 24 hours to, you know, implement the terms of that contract, it's going to slow things down to a screeching halt. So when you signed it, you better be prepared to live with the consequences.
Can I ask you a quick question? I signed a lease contract with a lady recently, and it was supposed to be for a year. Well, I didn't have my glasses or something, so I knew the lady, and she's a real estate salesperson for another place. And when she brought me the contract, it didn't have a yearly lease. It turned out to be a monthly lease. I said, no, honey, we agreed to a yearly lease. So can we just change that from initially monthly and say yearly on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as y'all both agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I can answer that.
All I got to do now is she doesn't have to reinitial it or anything. She has to reinitial it, but she doesn't have to sign the end of it. Huh?
Well, what you could do is just initial it and put it in the mark, you know, scratch out, put it in the mark, initial it, and date it to show that it was initialed and changed after the initial date.
Yeah, because all of a sudden she's getting late on the payment, and I'm kind of thinking she might back out on a monthly. Well, I throw a yearly back onto it. Well, I might keep her for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she'll agree to.
Yeah, I think that'll do the trick.
Hey, look, Dan, next time, Dan, wear your glasses.
Yeah, man. I was about to say they all try to screw you, but at 87, nobody's screwing you.
Oh, gee. Sunday morning, church-going listeners, and you're going to throw us that one. All right, Dad.
Y'all making something nasty out there.
Oh, Dad. All right. I don't hit the dump button anymore. I'm home, so you can get away with it now, Dan. So, all right, brother. I should never tell you that. All right, Dan. Thanks much. Bye. Dan hadn't turned dirty joke in about 6 years, but now he's done it. All right, let's go to Let's go. Dan is back. Let's go to Frank. He's got a question regarding pit bills. Hey, Frank, you and all things legal.
Good morning. Yeah, I got attacked by 5 pit bulls over on the West Bank earlier this year. I went to court. They only claimed 3 of them and said the other 2 were strays, but that's besides the point. The judge went ahead and made a ruling that the owner of the dogs that were renters to the property were indigent.
All right.
What's my next step?
Well, the problem is you looking for civil liability.
I'm looking to get my medical bills paid.
Well,
that's right on my pocket from the attack, and you know.
I think the problem is that the person responsible for the dogs do not have assets or money to be squeezing blood out of a turnip. You just did, and so.
And the second thing is, if the landlord, there are some cases out there that said if the landlord knew or should have known, or if the landlord maybe failed to maintain a fence that the landlord was required to maintain, and the dogs got out, there may be some liability on the landlord. So that avenue can be investigated. But if, like Doug said, if the homeowner doesn't have any kind of renter's insurance or liability insurance, the renter doesn't have any of that, then you're wasting your time.
That's why when people who get mugged in New Orleans or get robbed, and they don't sue the robber, is because they're probably in jail, have no assets, and there's no civil recovery. In civil court, it's about money. It's not about putting someone in jail. And if the person you're suing has no money, there's very limited. There's really no recourse. So that's why when you look at the TV commercials for lawyers, they don't say if you've been robbed by a hardened criminal, come see us, we'll sue him. They say if you've been hit by a trucking company or a service company that has a lot of insurance, come see us. And that's why they don't do that. You see. So yes, yeah, Albert.
We had just on a personal injury standpoint, we had a case where the guy, my brother's friend, he knew him, and his car broke down, so he had to walk along the side of the highway to the nearest gas station or whatever to make to get some help. And so somebody ran off the road, and he had over $500,000 in medical bills. I mean, he got messed up pretty badly. The problem is the person that hit him had a $15,000 policy, and he had no uninsured motorist coverage on his own auto policy, which would have covered that. And so there was $15,000, and this person, rented an apartment, didn't really have any assets, and he was just out of luck. I mean, he had to get, apply for Medicaid and everything else to pay his medical bills because that person was not adequately insured, and nor was he. So, and in your situation, we've done pretty well getting people injury damages for being attacked by dogs. But
they've had insurance.
You've got a situation where, the person's pretty much indigent. Best thing we do is let the parents take the dogs away. If you can somehow establish that there was a fence, the dogs got out of the fence, the fence wasn't properly repaired, and the owner, you can do some investigation and see if it's that sort of thing, and maybe the owner of that property's liability coverage would look into it, pick it up, or at least give you some sort of settlement just to pay you medicals, to not have to go ahead and defend it.
Yeah, that's a tough deal, Frank. We're very sorry about that.
I have a whole line of most of the stuff that you were just talking about. I have proof of.
Well, I would take it to a lawyer and see, but that's.
So you have proof about the landlord negligence? Yeah. All right. Well, then somebody else will call on Monday, 837-1304. We'll take a look at it. All right.
All right, Frank, my man. All right. Thanks for the call. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. We'll be right back for our final segment.
Rick Edelman, #1 New York Times bestselling author and founder of Edelman Financial Engines, takes questions on his hit radio show. Let's listen to Rick help a caller who's saving for retirement.
Hey, Rick, how can I keep my retirement money safe?
Okay, board is clear.
All
It's
right.
a risk. That sounds weird, I know. But when it comes to saving for retirement, if you try to keep your money safe, you're actually taking big risks. Savings accounts, well, they're not safe from inflation. They're not safe from taxes. There are, in fact, 18 different asset classes, and they all have different risks. So spread your money around so no one thing can wipe you out. It's like having 12 eggs in 12 baskets. Diversification helps you manage your risk while still giving you the opportunities provided by the financial markets.
That was award-winning radio host Rick Edelman. Get help diversifying your portfolio from one of our financial planners by calling 888-PLAN-RICK or visit rickedelman.com.
At Mike Brenner Injury Attorneys, we know that car wrecks don't take the weekends off, and neither do we. If you've been hurt in a wreck over the weekend, don't wait until Monday to get the help you need right now. We have people standing by, ready to take your call, ready to give you free advice, and ready to help you get the medical attention you need. You don't have to wait until Monday to call an attorney. In a wreck, need a check? Call me, Mike Bradner. We're the 24/7 injury attorneys, and we're available to get you the help you need right now.
We do have a caller to take us out, and it will be Buddy.
What does he want to talk
He
about?
has a real estate question.
Gotcha.
But did you know we also build custom in-ground pools? Clearwater Pool and Spas, Covington, Metairie, Baton Rouge, and Pearl, Mississippi.
In honor of President's Day, Dell delivers savings to help America's small businesses get more done. Office Anywhere, with up to 50% off high-performance laptops, desktops, and servers.
Okay, we have 6 minutes till the end of the show.
All right.
And electronics. Plus, refresh now with flexible financing options. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/President's Day.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Federer, Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
NBA veteran J.J. Redick has seen it all in his more than 14 years in the league. Now with the Old Man and the Three podcast, Redick and co-host Tommy Alter bring listeners a behind-the-scenes look inside the NBA and beyond. Listen free on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your shows.
Now, more All Things Legal, paid for by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to phone on. It's got Buddy. He's got another real estate question. Hey, Buddy, you and all things legal.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Good.
First of all, thanks for taking my call. So you have a lot of people trying to get through, so I try to give you brief synopsis if I can. We own a duplex. I have a tenant on one side, and he was under a 6-month lease. The 6-month lease expired January the 31st. And I want to get possession of the property. I know that he has kids and whatever. So I kind of just didn't really enforce the possession. Now February is here. He hadn't paid his rent yet. So I'm tired of going back and forth with it. So I just kind of want to just get possession. But because there's really no lease in place at the time, do I give him a 10-day notice, a 5-day notice before I file for possession?
I think 10 day.
Yeah, if you're month to month, it's got to be
10-day notice, yes.
Now, do I need to have an actual? Well, I told him, verbal. We talked about this. I'll be letting you kind of do month to month and figure some things out. Did I have to put a month to month lease in place, or no? Or it automatically month to month? Because it's in the contract that it will go to month to month if that's what we decided to do. So if you have a lease and your lease expires and you maintain possession, the lease automatically converts to a month-to-month lease if the tenant and the landlord month to monthly, but you're still bound by the provisions of the lease, other than how long the lease is. Right. So it's a 10-day notice they have to give us.
Yes, yes. You gotta give 10-day notice, and if they don't get out, you go to what parish you in?
Arlene.
Dot your I's, cross your T's. Try,
I know it. Yeah.
Cross them twice, dot them twice.
I appreciate everything you guys do. We appreciate this program, and y'all be safe. Thank you.
All right, thanks for the call. Yes. Yeah, they
Now, real quickly, you'd asked me before about home inspectors.
Yes,
and we
yeah.
could do a lot longer segment on that. But in these last couple of minutes, what people have to understand about a home inspection. I also always compare home inspectors to like a family practitioner or a general practitioner. They're gonna go and look at it and say, you go to that doctor and he says, look, you got a problem with your knee. You need to go see an orthopedist. You got a problem, with your digestive system. You need to go see a gastroenterologist. Home inspectors are very much the same way. They are generalists. They will look at the air conditioner and they're gonna test the temperature drop, whether it gets cool enough within a certain period of time, and they're gonna turn on the plumbing and make sure that the water drains like it's supposed to drain in the tub. And if it doesn't, they're gonna say, look, you need to contact a licensed plumber to further investigate what's going on. You need to contact, an HVAC guy to make sure it's not dropping right. You need to go get them to check it out. And so, and they're not code compliant. They don't necessarily check for code because the codes are constantly changing. And depending on when the house was built, if you got a house that was built in the 1950s and it hadn't been updated, I'm certain that there are, dozens and dozens and dozens of things that are not code compliant with today's code. And so, they'll point out certain things. For instance, if you have fuses instead of circuit breakers, they're going to look in the panel box and point those things out. If you have aluminum wiring or something along those lines, just say, look, get an electrician to come in to take care of these things. But they're not going to say, hey, look, this is not installed as per current code, because they have to keep track of every different code enforcement provision, from the beginning of time, and it's just beyond the scope of what they do.
All right.
You can go to that lsbhi.org website that we talked about, Louisiana State Board of Home Inspectors, if you're interested, and there is a standards of practice listed on there that shows you exactly what they are responsible and what they're not responsible.
All right. Well, there you go. Okay. Thanks, Al. We got it. It's in the can. We'll see you next week on All Things Legal. Be good and be blessed. We'll see you next week.
The previous show was a paid-for program. The views and advice expressed were not that of WWL or Intercom Louisiana, LLC. Assessing a person's legal matter often requires extensive interviews, review of contracts,